Stephen Sondheim, who's the composer-lyricist for this piece, is if probably the most significant American musical theater writer of my generation, certainly. He bridges from the golden age, you know, the kind of classic era, through to modern American musical composition. He writes in a compositional style and voice that is completely authentic to himself as a composer. He doesn't sound like anybody else, though there are many people who sound like him. And what's wonderful about the music, and also very tricky, is that it's melded with the lyrics in such a beautiful way. And the way you get to hear it is really, I find, words forward. And yet, the music is beautiful and surprising and modern. It's not like listening to a whole bunch of pop songs on the radio. It's like listening to a score, a real score, and you take a journey with it from the beginning to the end. And there's a whole layer of information going on there that, for anybody, you know, if you're a music scholar, you will hear it and understand how to parse what you're hearing. If you've never studied music a day in your life, you're going to find that it feels familiar in ways that you don't really know why, but it does. And that's great. It's a great gift. Being the musical director and the director, I just get the luxury of understanding how to tell the story all the way through. And for me, that's really important because the bulk of it is told in song. It's a lot of music, and it's great music, and it's frankly thrilling to get to work on it. This musical is structured with a whole bunch of main characters, a whole bunch of principal roles. So you're really following a good 16 figures through this world as individuals, which is very, very different from in a chorus musical structure where you've got, say, 5 people that really are carrying the primary aspect of the story or the textual aspect, and then a group of anywhere from 10 to 20 people who are kind of backup. This isn't that. This gives you a lot of individual nuggets to really hang on to. And all of those characters have individual voices. They all have different forms of writing supporting them, and yet they're all part of the same world. So it's very layered, and it's very rich that way. It's like the experience for me of reading a really amazing story. You know, you turn the page and just more keeps coming at you. That's a very important thing about fables, and it's a very important thing about fantasy stories, that they are identifiable to us and yet not like us, and they just keep giving. They give you surprises, and Into the Woods does that in a live performance way, which is rare and something that isn't quite like anything else, and it's really worth experiencing. As far as the size of the orchestra, My Fair Lady, if you've seen it, has just 2 pianos at the center of it and human voices. This is kind of the opposite of that. I really want to embrace the orchestral nature of this score. I want to have a lot of music happening in the air. I think it's important when you go outside to really hear music. It will be full and lush, and hopefully if you saw Pirates of Penzance, I want to take your memory of the sound of that show and step that up even one more notch.